it's that situation. We are living in a war zone. I feel like I can represent my generation so much because I honestly do not care about who you die. But now I cannot die. I can't leave with this straight. You know, I'm not suicidal. I can't go until y'all already know what time it is. And then after that, boom, it's all over. You see, you know how this before, but that's all it is. It's the reason being because if I can't live free, if I can't live in the same space the next man, I don't want to be here. Because God is constantly to see what life should be like.
God has cursed me to see what life should be like. For everybody should have the night to life. This dude. What it do, big homie? Bam, 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 I'm just scrolling through social media waiting for you guys to show up. It's a motherfucking Friday. I was gonna cut grass when I got off this afternoon, but apparently there's like a hurricane off the East Coast right now. They're talking about it's probably make landfall or somewhere close to Jersey, or I don't know. I gotta listen to the news report again. But anyway, we got bad weather on the East Coast, and it's been raining for like 2 fucking days. And I'm just paying attention to the weather. I didn't read weather reports or anything. So yesterday it was kind of hot and muggy, then it rained, had like a nice ass thunder shower, then it stopped. And then today it was cloudy all morning, like early in the day it was cloudy. I'm like, damn, it's gonna rain today. So it finally raining. Oh, okay, yeah. And so like I'm in PA, so we're getting like the edge of it. You know, the very edge is hitting us, and it's just rainy all fucking day, yeah. And my plan all week long was, okay, Friday afternoon, I'll just get off work. Soon as I get to the crib, don't do nothing. Go right outside and cut the fucking grass, nigga. Get that shit out the fucking way. But no, it's raining. It's raining. So can't cut the grass. Now I gotta wait till tomorrow or probably Sunday, depending on how this fucking weather plays out. And then I have to take a little bit of a drive tomorrow, like a 2-hour drive. It'll probably be raining the whole time. I hope it don't, man. Let me check the weather right now. Cause I drive, bro. I do 80. Speed limit say 65. I'm doing 80. And I'm gonna push the cruise on that bitch. I'm gonna lean back and ride at 80. So I get where the fuck I'm going. Man, when it rains, yo, the highways up here just so like motherfuckers act like they can't drive in the rain. Like, bitch, it's just water. You act like it's snow and ice. It's just water. You got good tires on your car? Drive, motherfucker. And I already just feel like Saturday, thunderstorms. Oh yeah, it's gonna be thunderstorming all day tomorrow. So my trip tomorrow is gonna be fucking slow going. Oh my god. I'm hoping, like, since it is thunderstorming tomorrow and I'll be riding a highway and it's a Saturday, that it's not a lot of people out who want to be out on a highway on Saturday morning in a fucking thunderstorm. Keep y'all asses in the house. Y'all ain't got no business out here anyway. I need the road to get to where I'm fucking going and get my ass back home. I ain't gonna have time for the nonsense. Like this afternoon, I'm just like, the traffic was so thick. Couldn't even swerve around, motherfuckers. Like, oh my god, people, just please. I hate fucking driving, yo. I enjoy driving when the roads are empty. I just hate driving with people on the road. Like, motherfuckers can't drive, yo. Their reaction time is slow as fuck. They're not observant. Motherfuckers, I don't know, barely do the speed limit. Like, just move the fuck out my way, yo. I got a heavy foot, yo. I ain't gonna lie, man. I drive. I can't help that shit, though, man. I hate moving slow in a car. And that's my thing I don't understand. Like, my car says it can go 180 miles an hour. This vehicle can move 180 miles an hour. And all your speed limits are fucking anywhere from 35 to motherfucking 55 miles an hour. Like, what is the fucking point in making cars that can do 200 miles an hour, 180 miles an hour, 160? If you never drive your car 100, most people don't even ever drive their cars 100 miles an hour, yo. I don't push every vehicle I've ever been in, I done drove that bitch over 100 miles an hour, yo. Fuck that. Just to see if this motherfucker can really do that shit. I'm gonna find me a straightaway on some back road somewhere and I'm gonna hold that fucking gas, yo, see what the fuck this goddamn shit can do. Hear how that shit sound, feel how that shit shift, see how that shit handle. Fuck that. But the area I live in, man, is like, the average age is like 55 years old. Just a bunch of old people, yo. Old motherfuckers who ain't got nowhere to go, ain't got shit to do with their fucking time. All you wanna do is goddamn drive slow in front of me, motherfucker. That's like, I don't know, like, I kept playing with the idea of like signing up for Uber and doing that shit like on the weekends sometimes for extra cash. But I don't think motherfucker want to ride with me, yo. Motherfucker, you ain't want to get in the car with me. Hop in, like, yo, you in a rush? Like, kinda, like, look, bruh, I drive fast. Put your seatbelt on, man, because I drive fast. Just letting you know now before I even move. We about to get to where the fuck we going. GPS say 15 minutes. I'm gonna knock about 6 minutes off of that shit, bruh. 15? I'll be there in 9 minutes.
Disguised as an academic scenario, as they called it, the method they would use to gain complete prison-like control of the entire population.
All right. I do want some other people to see this because oh damn. Gonna do a dual stream for a little minute. We're actually live on YouTube. Only been in here for like 10-15 minutes. It normally takes people a few minutes to come into YouTube live. Um, but every once in a while I'll do a dual stream where I try to stream on 2 platforms at once. So waiting for a couple people to come in here, man. Yo, I'll be posting some shit, yo. You know what I'm saying? I done got some little debate started between me and some good homies. But I like that because this conversation needs to be had constantly. And now people are like, why are you always posting shit like this? It's not that I'm always, why am I doing it now? It's just that you realize that I've been doing this all the time. The whole time. It's like, now that shit is weird, like, oh, now you pay attention to the shit I post. But the last couple of things I posted, man, people ain't paying attention to that shit, yo. I've been on my conspiracy tip extra hard, but I'm only on my conspiracy tip because evidence makes it more than a theory. So you don't, everything is not a conspiracy theory. A conspiracy is a plan that is contrived in secret. That's all it is. It's a secret plan, basically, is what a conspiracy is. So if a group of people plan something and they don't want other people knowing, they are conspiring. That's all it is. It's a secret plan. And there's hella conspiracies out here. And if you delve into the 9/11 shit, yo, and really look at what some experts say about it, you cannot believe the government. They're gonna buffer me because I'm talking shit. Oh, don't buffer me, Facebook, because I'm talking shit. But you know, there's the government has to be so plain and so transparent for me to believe anything they say at all, And for years, it's just like I don't trust these motherfuckers. And then when you hear shit like this,
was to infect
this is why
with a devastating
I don't
biological pandemic, and then under the guise of protecting us from this threat, they would be free to implement their final solution, a prison state. The prison state that they need to keep their grip on power. Following is proof that the deep state is behind these viral pandemics. For the deep state to make an international pandemic isn't even a high-tech operation. It's a no-tech operation. It's easy. A simple vial of Ebola, SARS, MERS, Spanish flu, or coronavirus, or whatever they come up with in their secret bioweapons lab, is all they need to bring the world into their total control. The only thing you have to remember is if they can do it, they will do it, which means they already have done it.
Yo, now check the dates, 2014, yo. And people know, like people on the inside know, and we motherfuckers just, if you keep up with what they're doing and read their reports, they tell you their plans. They write their agendas down.
The ruling establishment has a lot of, they will stop at nothing to complete their toolkit of control. Right? So one of the things that has been missing from the toolkit of total control has been quarantines and curfews, right? Mm-hmm. So now, welcome to the new world in America, where to get on a bus, to go through a subway station, if you think that the procedures at the TSA are onerous, right? Guess this is coming to a bus depot near you. It's a more invasive way, and the ruling class needs this because, let me say, if the ruling class ever saw wide-scale civil unrest, you'd see an Ebola outbreak in America right away.
Okay, so this is, what you see is that Ebola is
another tool in the toolbox of the ruling class control.
Yeah. To keep down
absolutely, repression. Positively, 100%. This is a tool.
Right.
Ebola doesn't just magically start spreading. Mm-hmm. And then we have this doctors that come back here. The white people, of course, live. Mm-hmm. You know, the two whites who got it or survive. All the black people that get it die. Right? It's very possible that these one of these NGOs over there is going around with a veil of Ebola or spreading it from a small plane onto villages. The point is to get hundreds of thousands of people infected with it and create the next phase of control. Now, one of the things I'd like to show to back up my my claims here. Here's a document from the Rockefeller Foundation. Rockefeller Foundation, right there. You can zoom in on that where my finger is. It's called Scenarios for the Future International Development, the Rockefeller Foundation. All right. Okay. Let's take a look at what they're saying here. This is something like a 50, 60-page document. I'd like you to go to page 18, if you can look at this up on the internet, but I'll read it off to you. It's called lockstep, lockstep. And this is a phrase that I used right after 2001 when I saw the entire system of the United States, including the population, were in lockstep. So the Congress went along, and yes, it was Osama bin Laden, and the people waved their flag and said, I hate, 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 and everything was in lockstep. Well, in 2010, they published this, Rockefeller Foundation, and here's what they're saying. They're saying that they call it a scenario. These are scenario narratives, and they speak about it in the past tense. So they put out this scenario, lockstep. A world of tighter, top-down government control and more authoritarian leadership with limited innovation and growing citizen pushback. Okay, I'll read a little bit of it. In 2012, the pandemic that the world had been anticipating for years, nobody was anticipating a pandemic, finally hit. Unlike 2009's H1N1 This new influenza strain originating from wild geese, they use some scenario, but this is Ebola they're talking about. Even the most pandemic-prepared nations were quickly overwhelmed when the virus streaked around the world, infecting nearly 20% of the global population and killing 8 million in just 7 months. The majority of them healthy young adults. The pandemic also had a deadly effect on economies. You can see the agenda. Just naked law, naked control agenda written down, and it's anybody's guess how this becomes effectuated in real life. So whether this is written specifically as marching orders or whether people take it upon themselves in the intelligence networks to say, okay, well, this has been produced, so this is the plan here. But these narratives have to be written in advance because the intelligence agencies don't know how to do these narratives. They need help. So these think tanks, they come up with these like Rand Corporation, Rockefeller Foundation. These are think tanks of death. They're think tanks, they're not there to find great ways to help people. Okay, the pandemic also had a deadly effect on economics. International mobility of both people and goods screeched to a halt. Which is what they want. They want a completely isolated world. Right? Debilitating industries like tourism and breaking global supply chains. Well, of course they want tourism stopped because they're not in the tourism business. And they want you at home, in your house, in front of the TV. Then they got you. Because once you watch the TV, they own your soul. Even locally...
Wait a second, we're on television.
I mean commercial television, let's say. National. Even locally, normally bustling shops and offices sat empty for months. Okay, so I love how they talk about it in the past tense in 2010. The pandemic blanketed the planet.
So, once again, yo, conspiracies are conspiracies. This ain't no theory. This is written scenarios from the Rockefeller Foundation. And they write these shits years in advance. And so you're telling me with even a scenario like this, how isn't anybody prepared for the Wuhan Corona COVID-19? Didn't you write out a scenario like this in 2000 and what he said? 2009, 2010? Didn't you publish this in 2010, 10 years ago, and you guys still weren't ready? And it's like, when you watch, like he says, it's they want this lockdown grid scenario that keeps everybody confined into this surveillance city structure. And that's why people don't know how to farm anymore. Motherfuckers don't have like large swaths of land and living off the land or living off grid. Like a lot of people don't do that. And this is a part of their overall agenda. And like he said, that's the last thing. After 9/11, they got all of the Homeland Security, the TSA, FEMA, all these organizations set up. They got the Patriot Act in place, got that set up all nice and easy. And it's like, yo, I mean, they haven't implemented any of these things yet, but what are you setting all these organizations up for? And now we have this new scenario, and like after everything has happened, that's the last thing is like quarantines and curfews. You know what I'm saying? Quarantine is for someone who is known to be contagious. Like if you're not known to be contagious and someone is forcing you to stay in your home, that's like house arrest or some weird ass shit. That's not quarantining. I don't know, the whole scenarios are just weird, and people have been saying this for years. Like this interview is years old.
Oh, disproportionate numbers in Africa died. Southeast Asia, and Central America, where the virus spread like wildfire.
It sounds like the opening monologue of a disaster movie, right?
Exactly. Now listen, here's the good stuff now. But even in developed countries, containment was a challenge. Now here's this one. I love this one. The United States' initial policy of strongly discouraging, in quotation marks, strongly discouraging citizens from flying proved deadly in its leniency. So they're saying, that
No, keep going. Read it. Just
proved deadly in its leniency. So they should have been tougher, right? Accelerating the spread of the virus, not just within the United States, but across borders. However, a few countries did fare better. China in particular. The Chinese government's quick imposition and enforcement of mandatory quarantine for all citizens, as well as its instant and near hermetic sealing off of all borders, saved millions of lives, stopping the spread of virus far earlier than in other countries. So the message is here is we have to look towards the Chinese, the oppressive totalitarian Chinese regime as an example of what we need to be doing here. And of course, the ruling class here loves the Chinese regime because they have demonstrated to the ruling class the most efficient form of capitalism, which is authoritarian capitalism. So we have capitalism, but unfortunately we have this veil. We have this veil of democracy.
This is very interesting. This is continue on.
Okay. China's government was not the only one that took extreme measures to protect its citizens from risk and exposure. During the pandemic, national leaders around the world flexed their muscles, flexed their authority, and imposed airtight rules and restrictions. You can see the agenda.
Go.
Okay. From the mandatory wearing of face masks to body temperature checks at the entries to communal spaces like
that's what's happening right now.
Trains, yeah, but soon it's going to be like body.
It'll be at the subway.
Yeah, well.
Is that what you're saying? We'll be going through this in the subway, to get on buses and the subway,
absolutely,
things
positively.
like that.
And what this means though is don't think about having a cigarette, a joint on basically you can't. This is a dragnet for everything. So if in order for you...
in other words, just like with stop and frisk, this is the ultimate stop and frisk.
This is the ultimate cavity stop and frisk, cavity search kind of thing. All right, so during the pandemic, national leaders around there flex their authority. Now, there's some good stuff. Listen to this. And even supermarkets, they want body checks at supermarkets, okay? So basically what they're saying is they're building a system where every move you make, you gotta go through them.
You can't get food. Well, how about if you go to the farmer's market?
Here's the good stuff now. I mean, it just keeps getting better. Even after the pandemic faded, this more authoritarian control and oversight of citizens and their activities stuck and even intensified. That's the whole point. So they're going to get...
Did that happen already with 9/11?
Of course.
9/11 was how many, 14 years ago, and we still have all these draconian
So they're going to put the body cavity
USA,
searches
Patriot, and all
that. That's right. So in order to get to the supermarket, you got to have a body cavity search, and then when there's no more Ebola, well, you know what? We kind of like this way because we have a complete infrastructure of a complete control grid. In order to protect themselves from the spread of increasingly global problems, from pandemics and national terrorism to environmental crisis and rising poverty, leaders around the world took a firmer grip on power. Well, what the hell would rising poverty have anything to do with imposing strict citizen controls with face masks? So they're very sloppy stuff here. At first, the notion of a more controlled world gained wide acceptance and approval. I'm sorry. Nobody likes this stuff. They're just saying it. No, I have to provide analysis.
Only because we only have 5 minutes left, so that's...
Oh my God, okay. Citizens willingly gave up some of their sovereignty and their privacy to more paternalistic states in exchange for greater safety and stability. I mean, that's just a complete naked contradiction to the famous saying that if you think you're going to give up a little bit of security, I mean, if you're going to give up your freedom for security, you're going to get neither. That's the long-standing thing. And here what they're doing is they're not even ashamed or embarrassed to absolutely say the exact opposite. They say, yes, we all want to give up our privacy and sovereignty for more stability and security and stability. So you don't get that. When you give it up like that, you get the shaft. That,
Can you show us the cover again of
I'll
what
show
you were
you the
just
cover
reading?
one more time, and then I have
This
two
is
more
what-
documents.
Right,
Two
this
more
is what we're
documents.
reading here, and just zoom in a little bit so folks can see it. He'll zoom in, don't worry, you can relax.
All right.
And scenarios for the future of technology and international development.
Okay. Now I have two more documents. Keep it zoomed. We have the National Security Memorandum of December 10th, 1974. This is Henry Kissinger's brainchild. The National Security Memorandum number 200. You can look that up on your internet. I'll summarize it. He says that there's too many people. We got to get rid of the population. So to answer your question,
From earlier.
yeah, he says he used the word depopulation, which is different. Depopulation means killing people that already exist, and it's to get the minerals, because we need the minerals. And here's another one. The CDC has a patent on Ebola. They patented it. So basically, if you want to get a cure for your Ebola, you
It
gotta
says it
go.
right up here, right? It says human Ebola virus species and compositions and methods thereof, and it's a patent.
It's a patent. They patented the mainstream plus something like 17 other strains of it. So they own it now, and I don't know how exactly you can own that, but apparently they've done the same thing.
Yeah, I didn't think you could own a natural.
Yeah, you can. I guess the main thing to finish off this show is this: that they want to get more control, and it's going to be curfews and quarantine. So what I'm saying is that unless the American people start to get some new way to revolt, a new way to organize, new way to protest, unless we can break through the apathy.
Now this was 2014. This interview was 2014, and he said that the next phase of their agenda is, he kept saying Ebola, they're going to do Ebola again. They got a patent on Ebola, they're going to do Ebola, but it wasn't Ebola, it's something new. It's COVID-19. It's worse. It's the worst thing ever. We got to shut the whole world down so we can get more control, because the next phase is we want curfews and quarantines. Curfews and quarantines. And now if you want access to groceries and other vital necessities, you got to scan and track you even more, because you may have come in contact with someone who tested positive for COVID. And now we gotta track everything that you do. Matter of fact, you need to go sit at home for 14 days. So, I know I be sounding crazy saying this shit, man, but it don't be me. Like, I'll just be pulling this shit out my butt. And he showed documentation. And like I say, even when you were back during 9/11, like when you read what the Patriot Act says, like you can go onto the government sites and read the Patriot Act, and it's like they can use your personal property for military purposes if the president issues some kind of national emergency. Like they can take control over all waterways, food supplies, minerals, and it's like minerals. Like what is y'all talking about? And it's just weird language of like, if another 9/11 ever happens and we have to implement a state of emergency, then this is what we're going to be able to do. And it's like, that seems kind of harsh, you know? And you read PDD 51, I think it was called. And there's all this shit is written. The fucking, the King George Act, and a lot of shit is just written down, and you just find these government documents and read that shit, yo. And so once they do a scenario, just like 9/11, they say they were doing test runs and doing drills at the same time that 9/11 happened. So they couldn't tell if it was a test scenario or if it was a live event. And it's like, yeah, okay. And then what it was, that French train bombing. After that, they were testing some scenarios like, oh, what if a terrorist had a bomb on a train, and then it really happened? Like, get the fuck out of here. So you can't tell me that y'all came up with this whole goddamn global lockdown procedure, which implements a medical law and instills motherfucking curfews and quarantines. This guy just said exactly what's going on now in 2014. And then everybody's like, oh, wear your mask, social distancing. Like, come on, man, this shit is so contrived. It's not even fun. It's not even fun. And I've listened to a couple of people who talked about this scenario playing out, in the near future. And one guy even explained it like there's not a real timeline like, oh, in 2015 we're gonna do this, and in 2026 we're gonna do this. Their timeline is events. Once we're able to accomplish this event, however long that may take, then we're gonna implement the next phase. And it may take 5 years, it may take 15 years, it may take a generation. 25, a generation ain't but 25 years, and that's not a long time when you're planning out a 50-year, 75-year program. You know. So this link is on my Facebook. Please go back, watch it again, listen to everything he says. Go to the government sites, find the documents, read them for yourself, because these dudes, like, I don't know. The global elite don't give a fuck about nobody. That's why I try to tell everybody, yo. Like, and I don't even really understand, like, white supremacy, because if you're not a part of the bloodline, the world elite don't give a fuck about nobody. Nobody. If you not in the bloodline, they don't give a fuck about nobody, yo. You know what I'm saying? They spray everybody with chemtrails. They put the same GMOs in all the fucking food. They contaminate all the goddamn water. And they soft kill everybody. With I don't know, man. Like, the elite don't give a fuck about no one. And once everyone wakes up to that fact that you're not on the in group. George Carlin, yo, listen to some of George Carlin's stand-up, yo. He has this one skit called The Big Club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. If you're not a Weisenhop or a motherfucking goddamn J.P. Morgan, Chase Manhattan, motherfucking Rockefeller, goddamn some of these if your family don't got stock in no central bank, you ain't shit to these motherfuckers, yo. And they got their agendas and they got their programs. And once again, is this fucking virus something real? I absolutely believe so. But is it more politicized in order to produce an atmosphere of fear where the general public is going to fall in lockstep with whatever programs they want to set up for us? Unquestionably. I ain't with the bullshit. I ain't with it. So I'm gonna sit in here and paint for a little while. I just had to share that because once again, yo, I posted the link on my Facebook. Nobody don't want to listen to the stuff I be posting. I know some of the things I post are long. Oh, there's over 10 minutes, and it's like, geez, people, just a little bit of attention for a second, dude. Just watch this shit and disagree with me, please, because I don't want to be wrong about this shit. I wish a lot of this shit made more sense. That's what I wish, man. I wish it made more sense, but it don't. It don't make sense. A lot of it doesn't make sense, yo. And then when you hear people like this give you this type of information and you can go search it yourself, you're just like, oh, what the fuck? They is playing us like a bunch of sheep. And it annoys me that they think the general population is as stupid as they assume we are, and we're not. I know we're not. And So still working on some details. You can see here, I gotta add a lot more details to the arm bracelet. Some more details to the fabric design. This is actually a cool project. So I painted this picture once before, way bigger. Yo, the first canvas is like this size, and somebody wanted it for an anniversary present, and I told him the price, and he was like, "Oh, that's out of my price range." I'm like, "Bro, it's out of my price range too. I can't afford that like that." You know what I'm saying? And he was like, "Damn, I really love that painting though." He was like, "Can you work with me on the price?" I can't do nothing with that price, bro. That shit is, the price is what it is. He's like, he's like, "Can you paint it smaller so it could be in my price range?" I was like, "You know what? I can definitely do that. I can definitely paint it again for you, smaller, on a smaller canvas. It looks exactly the same, but it's a good paint. It's a really good piece, and I'm having fun. And this is one of my favorite pictures, so it's cool as hell that I got to paint it twice. I like that. I got to paint it twice, and then that's my next project. And then I have some more stuff still lined up. I got a bunch of stuff to go. Quarantine paint sessions. But my man right here is on point. Yo, question everything. Question every single thing about this COVID-19 shit. Everything. When people tell you like whatever you believe about it, if somebody says something contradictory to it, look into that shit, yo. Cause I done had a lot of people like, "Oh man, my neighbor died from a heart attack. They said it was COVID." I'm like, what?
That's what we have here. Then it's going to be a slave state here. The ruling class doesn't seem to have too much resistance. They're getting everything on their Christmas shopping list. And they've been wanting quarantines and curfews for a long time. Now they got it. And if you want to live in a world where you're tricked into all this stuff because it's for your safety, right? And if you want to have a probe and make sure you got to check your pockets, make sure you don't have anything incriminating on you before you go out, and when you step out of your house, you want some police there to monitor and see what you're doing. If that's the world you want to live in, be apathetic, don't do anything. You're going to get that world very soon. It's coming your way, definitely.
Mm-hmm. So what should people do? What's the hope? You have 30 seconds.
To wake up, learn about it, and go fight these bastards in Washington. They're easy to beat. If we can just organize, we can beat them. It's simple. They're weak, and there's so few of them.
Yeah, it's on my page, yo. Go check out the link, yo. Watch it from the beginning, man. And then I'll post this other link again, yo. But it was from an interview from 2010, and this dude was talking about, yo, they're gonna release some kind of virus in China, and it's gonna be like a flu-like virus, and it's gonna spread across the globe. Yo, he said this shit in 2010. Yo, and this dude right here was saying this 2014. That interview was 2014, and he said they're gonna have you wearing masks and have you on curfews and quarantines. I mean, I don't see how people can make this information more clear than what it is. It's we're in this weird scenario where I know it's hard to, decipher truth and know what they trying to manipulate the reality that we live in, yeah. It's this weird thing to really know what is real. You know what I'm saying? To really know what is real. So you have to listen to everybody, and you have to really consider every angle. And if that means going to the extreme, and that's where I take my mind sometimes. I go to that far out conspiracy. What's up, baby girl? I go to that far out conspiracy realm. Like, what is the most outrageous thing? Like, oh, they're gonna release some virus and it's gonna kill everybody, like the Georgia Guidestones say, and it's gonna, wipe out 90% of the population. And then so far it hasn't wiped out 90% of the population. So like, oh, Okay, so is it really, really deadly? Or guess just kind of deadly? You can have it, but recover from it and not know you ever had it, but still transmit it to someone else who could get sick from it, but it mutated, and now kids can get it when kids can get it the first time. And see, so you got to listen to everything these motherfuckers say, yo, because some of the stuff don't add up. A lot of shit don't make sense. Don't let it. Just don't be scared, yo. Don't let this scenario scare you. Don't be fearful to fucking live your life, yo. I know, and I be sounding crazy, you know, when you say it out loud, but you just gotta say it, yo. Like, fuck that, yo. Like, just say it. You're gonna get in arguments. People aren't gonna agree with you, but as long as you just listen to everything the officials say. Listen to the news. Listen to the Fox and the BBC and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Listen to all the outlets, and then listen to all the alternative outlets as well, and listen to all the counter arguments for everything, and then pull your own real understanding from both sides where the information overlaps. Because I don't think this thing is as bad as they're saying it is. Honestly, once again, I think it's just another way to get a little more control of our lives, another way to track and scan our every movement, and now they're gonna Boozy, what's up, bro? And now they're gonna I think like by next year everyone has to have the national ID card, you know, and that's gonna be mandatory for you to have this second form of ID. And then I'm just hoping they don't make a vaccine mandatory, you know, and then restrict your mobility if you're not vaccinated. Because you live in an area that was considered a hot zone, and you still may be a carrier, so you can't come to the DMV and renew your license, and we're going to restrict your privileges to drive an automobile because you're not you don't have your COVID-19 vaccination. And I see shit like this. That's the scenario I don't want to happen, yo. Like, some weird shit is coming. Stay diligent. Stay the fuck woke. You know, get some rest. But stay woke, motherfuckers. Because this shit is far from over. Last week, Australia started shutting back down some of their cities and going back into lockdowns. So, uh, look look for Europe to start doing that shit again. And now they're talking about hot spots all over the U.S. again. So it's gonna be like this whole scenario like it was the first time, where you know some places have like uh, dine outside eating or limited inside dining, and some gyms are open. Like all that shit is about to shut back down again, yo. See, but once again, when you say shit like that, you motherfucking sound crazy, you know. What? People don't like to read though, you know. Just read everything. You gotta know stuff like that. You gotta have little things like this. You ain't like this little book, you know. Little things like this, man, got a lot of information in it. You don't, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is, though. But anyway, let me get some paint on these brushes. I just wanted to share that link with y'all. Once again, the link is on my Facebook page. If y'all want to check it out, if y'all want to share it, you know, watch that John again, show it to your people or whatever, and I'll give it y'all next time. Peace. What up, what up, what up? Dude, yo, it doesn't rain. It's kind of cool outside now. Right, and it's still raining. Yo, Civic, what up, what up, what up? Oh, damn. Alright. Probably start some shit on social media. But see, that's the only thing too though, like I can start shit on social media because once again, I do shit in real life though. So, whatever. Be mad. You can be mad at me. But like, I do shit in real life though. So, it's all good. Some people only shout and yell on fucking through their screen, you know? That's the only fucking shit some people do, yo. You ain't really active. You ain't, I don't, that's why I don't get it sometimes. And that's why I don't feel bad, like, debating people online. Like, cause the shit I be saying makes sense. And just cause you don't agree with it, that don't mean I'm wrong, you know? That shit don't mean I'm wrong just cause you don't agree with it. Like, I had this long back and forth with several people over the ear loop mask. And it's like, yo, those shits offer very, very, very little protection, if any. But they're making that shit mandatory. And then, like I say, now you see people just by themselves walking down the street with a mask on. It's like, how scared are you of this virus scenario? Like, Jesus Christ. It's not that bad. And they're trying to condition us now. Yeah, they're gonna shut the whole country back down.
I'm James, and me. Your face is your moneymaker, and what you put on it says a lot about you. I'm James, and these are William Painters. Did you know $5 sunglasses and the $500 designer brands are made from the same cheap plastic? Plastic like beach toys, party cups, and Mardi Gras beads. Plastic. William Painters are the finest sunglasses ever made and the last pair you'll ever need. But most importantly, they're good.
Current population. U.S. Census Bureau. India is number 2. Pakistan is number 5. And Bangladesh is number 8. They're all right next to each other.
Uh-oh.
Let's see here. One enduring puzzle is why South Asia's countries, such as India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, have reported a lower ratio of deaths to cases than other countries with large outbreaks. What's going on, it's difficult to say. On the one hand, South Asian countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh have among the lowest rates of testing in the world, which implies a far higher actual case count and in turn even a more startlingly low death rate. On the other hand, some videos are emerging from for example, from the Indian state of Karnataka showing workers dumping bodies of COVID-19 victims into burial pits. In general, even under normal circumstances, most deaths in that region of India are not medically certified. So there are clearly some reporting and verification issues. But even those issues don't fully explain South Asia's low number of deaths so far. The region could be simply lagging. More broadly, concerns continue about the reopening of the region's economies. Okay. Anyways, you can read this in Foreign Policy. God is great says he or she thinks India isn't even caring to really track it. Jimmy Scott says, I fear India is heading for massive spikes. I wonder if the government there would really honestly report it. Rhino says the population density is crazy there. You certainly have a lot of places in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh that are very crowded. Also a lot of places that are poor. I've said this for months now. In countries like these South Asian countries, I have to imagine that there's large, very poor, crowded areas where there's not much health infrastructure at all, and people are getting sick and dying, and no one's even recording it. Hey, thanks G. Anderson for your support, by the way. G. Anderson, I appreciate that. G says, I'm stuck in Florida surrounded by COVID. Well, stay safe there, G. Anderson. We were talking about Florida a bunch earlier. Definitely some concerning reports coming out of there. Hey, thank you, William Cook, as well. Much appreciated, William Cook. Robert Mayfield says, you would think India would be a major hotspot. Oh, and they've been reopening the country for a while now in India. Well, we'll see what happens. Or maybe we won't see officially what happens. I mean, ultimately what will happen is, you know, if in some countries, if you can ultimately get the ultimate number of people who died and compare that to how many on average died, then no matter what the official reporting of COVID deaths is, that should give you some estimation. So if the numbers are made public of how many people are dying overall in India, and if those are significantly higher than the average number of people who die at this time of year, then that could help estimate what the actual number of deaths from COVID is in India, regardless of what the official reporting is. Oh, and thank you, Lars Anderson from Sweden. I appreciate it, Lars Anderson. Thank you. We haven't talked about Sweden in a while. I don't even know what the recent statistics are from there. Sweden from World Hunger. As we've discussed, and a lot of you are familiar with, I'm sure, Sweden had much less of a lockdown restrictions than other countries did. And they have had a lot more people dying there than their neighbors like Norway, Denmark, and Finland. Now, their deaths have gone down. See, these are the numbers in Sweden. Daily death numbers certainly have gone down. Cases less in Sweden. I don't know what the testing numbers are. I assume they're testing at least as many people. But, you know, again, for any country around the world, I don't believe there's any country where anything more than a minority of people has had it. A smaller minority, you know, less than, say, 30% or even 20%. The numbers I see about the amount of people in a country who have it, I don't know that I've seen any experts say a country has had more than 20% with the virus. So any country where most of the people have not had it, that country is susceptible to having a new outbreak where lots of people get it.
That doesn't sound good at all. Yo, this rain is fucking crazy.
I'm just checking for some updates here. Oh, look at this, CBS Evening News. In Arizona, one of the hardest hit states, the wait for a COVID-19 test is up to 12 hours. You can watch that report at CBS News. CBS Evening News.
I need my COVID tested now. You know what
Oh,
I'm
look
saying?
at this also. At least the first 9 weeks of the school year will be virtual for Atlanta public school students returning August 24th. I'm going to post this. At least the first 9 weeks of the school year will be virtual for Atlanta public school students. Wow. Because that goes, I mean, that'll take them into November. You know, probably close to Thanksgiving. Well, let's see. I'm very interested in seeing what happens in schools around the U.S. What they're going to decide about whether the kids should go back or not. But that's 9 weeks starting August 24th. That's from CBS 46. June Cruz says, how many people run out of gas while in the line for testing? That's a good question. Shane says, right until Halloween. Sean says it might last the whole year. Oh, it could. Yeah, I don't know how long they're going to be out of school for. I mean, this just says for 9 weeks. We don't know what's going to happen after the 9 weeks. That's a long time, though.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's not 3 weeks, that's 9 weeks. Wow. LT says, I bet they will extend that 9-week delay. Well, we'll see what we hear about from other localities. Oh wow, Arabic Saunders says, just got hit with bad news. 2 of my cousins in North Carolina tested positive. I hope they have an okay time, and I wish them, if they have symptoms, I wish them a speedy recovery. Arabic says, I'm in Texas but still worried. Thanks, Arabic, for your support. My thoughts with your cousins. Thank you also to David Graffam. Thanks so much, David Graffam, for your support as well. I appreciate that. Diane Francis, we talked about Virginia a little earlier in the broadcast. So I'm just checking for some updates here. Tennessee has had a lot of new cases as well. Iowa had, Utah had 867 cases. What's going on in Utah? I just noticed this. Utah had 867 new cases. Is there some big outbreak there? Seems like a lot for them. Utah, 867. I mean, that would be by far their high. 867 in Utah would be this. Oops, I did that wrong. Be way up here. I wonder what happened in Utah. Let's see if we can, maybe it was a backlog. Let's see if we can find out what's going on in Utah. It looks like they just have their, by a large margin, their high number of cases. Salt Lake Tribune. With 867 new cases, Utah sees another record Friday. Sets another record Friday. Let's see if there's any analysis in here. The surge of new cases is not isolated to any one area. Okay. Hospitalizations also went up sharply in Utah on Friday, with 48 new admissions reported. There were 187 patients occupying Utah's hospitals on Friday, up 10 total from Thursday. I don't see the percentage testing positive there. See if we can find it. Now, if you look at the overall Utah hospitalization, this is from the Tomer Berg site. Looks like it went up a bunch since like late May, and then it went down some. Where is their website? Where is their website? Let's find the Utah website. Here is, when it loads, okay. Utah hospitalizations. Yeah, so they went up since yesterday. They're a little less than they were earlier, last couple weeks. That's Utah hospitalizations. Do they give you percent positive overview? Every state site is different. I don't know. Just looking here. Oh, percent positive rates. This is what I wanted. 7 positive rates by special. In May, Utah, and that's gone up to around 10%. So there are more people testing positive in Utah. Thank you, Robert Blackburn, for your support. Much appreciated, Robert Blackburn. Thank you. What's going on with Hawaii? I was going to check on Hawaii, too. They had a bunch of kite cases like 3 days ago. I don't know how things have been there. Okay. 28 new cases. They had like 40-something a couple days ago from Keihan, bringing state total to 1158. That's not really much analysis there. Let's look up Hawaii news now. Hawaii reports 28 new cases amid growing calls to delay tourism reopening plans. Hawaii news now. Of the 28 new cases, 13 were the result of community spread, and 4 were travel related. The rising number of cases in Hawaii the last few weeks, both in Hawaii and across the mainland, have raised concern about the governor's current plans to reopen Hawaii for tourism on August 1st. The current plan would allow incoming travelers to avoid the state's mandatory 14-day quarantine if they test negative for coronavirus no more than 72 hours before they land.
Now you gotta get your COVID test before you get on the plane.
If you look at the numbers for Hawaii,
So you don't have to
I bet
quarantine.
you'll see a lot of the cases there are more recent. Hawaii down here. Yeah, so look at this. Daily new cases, Hawaii, right? Starting like in late April, you have barely any new cases in Hawaii. Look at all these single digits here. 2, 1, 0. But look what's happened since the start of June in Hawaii. And then today it's 28. It's yet another area where they were doing really well, and then, things can just start ramping up and outbreaking at any time. Ava Kunzelman says Manitoba has now gone 10 days without a new case. Nisha says they were doing good for so long. I mean, the thing is, all it takes is one person to have it. And, they could be, if they're asymptomatic and they start giving it to other people, it can just start spreading. And before you know it, all these people have gotten it before you've even tested anybody and detected it. Sorry, Periscope is doing this thing again where the chat is messed up, so I need to refresh it here. I'll do that. All right, let's do this. Let's see. Oh, I hadn't seen this before about a couple things here. I saw something about an executive order in Michigan. Michigan Governor Whitmer signs order requiring masks in indoor, some outdoor public spaces. Order requires businesses to refuse entry. So this is Michigan. from Click on Detroit. The Michigan governor, has signed a new executive order requiring masks in indoor public spaces and crowded outdoor spaces. What is the thing about the businesses? The order requires any business that is open to the public to refuse entry or service to people who refuse to wear a mask, with limited exceptions. Refuse entry. Under the governor's order, businesses that are open to the public must refuse entry and service individuals who fail to comply, and must post signs at all entrances instructing customers of their legal obligation to wear a face covering when inside. If you're at a restaurant and you are eating or drinking while seated, you don't have to wear a mask. But when you walk into the restaurant, you do need to wear a mask in Michigan. A willful violation of the order is a misdemeanor subject to a $500 criminal penalty.
What?
All right, so that's new. I haven't seen that.
Damn. $500 fine.
And then, what is this Houston hospitals report? NBC News, all the hospitals are full, and Houston overwhelmed ICUs leave COVID patients waiting in ER. Officials in Houston warn of a potential replay of what happened in New York in the spring, when thousands of people died as hospitals struggled to keep up.
$500 fines,
Houston
though?
hospitals have been forced to treat hundreds of COVID patients in their emergency rooms, sometimes for several hours or multiple days, as they scramble to open additional intensive care beds for the wave of seriously ill people streaming through their doors, according to internal numbers shared with NBC News and ProPublica. At the same time, the region's 12 busiest hospitals are increasingly telling emergency responders that they cannot safely accept new patients at a rate nearly 3 times that of a year ago. The increase in ambulance diversions, coupled with the spike in patients being held indefinitely in emergency rooms, are the latest indicators that Houston hospitals are straining to keep up with a surge of new patients. Officials in Houston are warning the situation could become a replay of what happened in New York City in March and April, when thousands of people died as hospitals struggled to keep up with the surge of patients, but without the same level of government intervention to stem the tide. Yeah, as I said earlier, I'm not expecting any kind of major lockdown across the country from different states like we saw in March and April.
Okay.
So I would not expect things to get better significantly like they did in March and April.
I expect
Typically,
to go back
when people
into that
arrive at a
lockdown
hospital
shit.
emergency department, they're evaluated and treated by the medical staff. Those sick or injured enough to require hospitalization are then moved to other areas of the hospital for specialized care. But increasingly in Houston, particularly for patients suffering from COVID, there's nowhere for them to go. Studies done before coronavirus pandemic show the longer the patients stay in ERs, the worse their outcomes, rather than going to, say, an ICU. ICUs and other hospital units are staffed with doctors, nurses, and other support personnel who have specialized training and experience caring for critically ill patients in need of specific medical interventions, whereas the mission of the emergency department medical workers is to quickly assess patients, stabilize them, and get them where they need to be. ER docs are being put in the position of having to function like the hospitalist or intensive care doctor, and that's not a role they're really supposed to be in, said this doctor. You can read that at NBC News. Tom says, has unemployment been extended? No. There has not been a new stimulus bill passed in the U.S. There is talk of it.
But
you mean the federal government supplement? Now this is from CNBC. CNBC says the extra $600 unemployment benefit probably won't be extended. Here's what to know. blah, blah, blah. In the next stimulus package, the Trump administration wants to cap the benefits so workers don't receive more in unemployment than they did at their jobs, said Steve Mnuchin, Secretary of the Treasury. Mnuchin said, you can assume that the new unemployment benefit will be no more than 100% of a worker's usual pay.
Yeah,
Critics
because
of the
I didn't get
benefit
unemployment
say it disincentivizes people
when I didn't work for a little while,
Others say
but
it's necessary when around 33 million Americans are still receiving jobless benefits at the end of June, and states are reclosing parts of their economies.
I heard motherfuckers was banking off that unemployment, yo.
Recent research from the Chicago Federal Reserve found that people receiving unemployment benefits are actually more likely to look for jobs than those who have exhausted their benefits. And some economists say continuing enhanced unemployment benefits is one of the most critical things lawmakers can do right now to stabilize the U.S. economy. So Congress and the White House are talking now about what to do about new stimulus. Here's something from Forbes. Was that new? Second stimulus check update. Here's everything we know right now. All eyes are on the Senate when it returns from its 2-week July 4th recess on July 20th and will start crafting legislation for the next stimulus bill. A second stimulus check feels like a guarantee, but we are still missing a lot of key details. So this is the check.
Yo,
So
give me
there's
my
the-
reparations
there's the
check
question
while
of-
you at it, man. Y'all
will
keep
they
giving out all these
giving
motherfucking
people
stimulus
extra
packages and this and that, yo.
will there be an extra
Hit me off with my
one-time check for
goddamn
everyone,
reparations
or
real
some
quick.
people?
I don't want nothing but
This all needs to be
475,000. That'd be good. You know what I'm saying? Give me $475,000 for reparations. And let's call it a day, man. That ain't even a lot
The
of money.
CARES Act also suspended
Honestly.
federal evictions and foreclosures through July 31st. That could be
Stimulus
adjusted.
that. Stimulus
So-
this, man. Fuck that, man. Give me my reparations. You give me
Congress will be
reparations,
negotiating this.
black people will help stimulate the economy. We'll go out, everybody go buy houses. Economy be booming.
What
At
the
least the
hey,
housing
says, my
market will be
sister was so
booming.
tired of staying home she took a lesser paying job.
Wow.
June Cruz says no extra $600 for unemployed people will hurt landlords. People won't buy as much at stores. Ugh, sorry. Aaron says get Andrew Yang stat.
Andrew Yang was talking about that UBI. Now everybody got a UBI.
All right, let me just
Tried
see.
to tell y'all mofos this shit, man. Oh, Andrew Yang sound crazy. It don't matter if he sound crazy, listen what the fuck he's saying.
Here, let's see.
Just listen to him. Damn, hit a man out. You motherfucker ain't wanna do that. But then, when motherfucking Trump give
Oh,
out
I
a
saw
UBI,
this. Was
it's
this
like, oh, that's the
yesterday?
best thing in the world. Well, that's what
Yeah,
Andrew
this is
Yang was
yesterday.
saying.
So, just an article about Mississippi. Mississippi hospitals can't take care of Mississippi's patients, 5 ICUs full as virus booms. They've had a big surge in Mississippi. Mississippi Free Press. Mississippi hospitals are stretched thin and Mississippians will not be able to get the health care they need, said top health experts during a dire press conference yesterday. Already, according to a state health officer, 5 of Mississippi's largest hospitals have already run out of ICU beds for critical patients. At the University of Mississippi Medical Center, we are full. Many days we have more patients than rooms, said a hospital official.
So now they about to kill off grandma. Bye, granny.
Let's see. With COVID patients filling up emergency rooms in Mississippi, it will only grow more difficult for health care workers to see other emergency patients, this official warned. In late June, Dr. Dobbs, health official, told Jackson Free Press reporter Nick Juden that Mississippians should prepare for not being able to get into the hospital if you have a wreck.
Y'all
to
ready?
have a heart attack and there not be a ventilator to put you on.
Y'all ready? For this no heart attack scenarios, you can't have heart attacks if you want to live. You know what I'm saying? If you get in a wreck,
Free Press.
if you get in a car accident, don't think we're going to be able to save you because COVID. We need that COVID money. That's $30,000 per patient. Bonus. So if you have a heart attack, don't think we're going to put you on a respirator, ventilator. We're going to watch you die, Granny. We need this shit for COVID patients only. COVID, where that money at right now? If you ain't got the COVID, we ain't fucking with you.
Thanks for your kind words, like butter.
But then when you die, we still gonna say you died from COVID. Yeah, Granny died from COVID. It's sad. It's sad.
Our viewer sent me this from yesterday. Casimiera.
Poor Granny.
UC Berkeley reopening in doubt after 47 cases tied to frat parties.
Not the
Plans for
frat
the fall semester
parties.
at UC Berkeley are in question after 47 new cases tied to fraternity parties.
Man, frat and fraternities. That ain't COVID. The motherfuckers passing around herpes.
You can read more about that at The Guardian.
I got swollen glands, bitch. That's an STD. It's a COVID-induced STD, though. Everything is just COVID now, man. Everything, yo. Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
Something else about another country. This is from yesterday. We rarely talk about Indonesia, but just an update. I saw this. From Bloomberg, Indonesia sees record virus cases with new clusters emerging. Military academy, industrial area among new hubs of infections.
Clusters.
Death toll tops 3,400, highest in Southeast Asia. I remember when Indonesia was one of the last countries to report a case. They're a high population country. What is their population? Over about 200 million. Indonesia population 267 million. One of the most populated countries in the world. Okay. Indonesia reported record jump in daily coronavirus infections as a military academy and an industrial area emerged as the nation's newest clusters. This was, I think, yesterday. Indonesia has struggled to stem the spread of the pandemic after easing social distancing rules to allow resumption of economic activities triggered a surge in infections. Okay.
It's gonna be time to eat.
And I saw this story as well. This is like a more rare piece of good news. ICU in Bergamo, Italy, finally COVID-free after nightmare. The news comes 137 days after the first novel coronavirus patient arrived. Doesn't mean there can't be more cases again in the region, but for now at least, the ICU there is finally free, COVID-free. ABC News. Papa Giovanni 23, the main hospital in Bergamo, Italy, has declared its intensive care unit COVID-free some 137 days after the first patient was admitted. You can read that at ABC News. All right. Let me do one last check here, but I think I've gotten to what I wanted to get to. Oh, hold on a second. Wait. I just saw something. Hold on. Oh. Sorry, is this from yesterday or today? No, that was from yesterday. I thought it was from today. I thought they were reporting some new cases today. We talked about Tokyo before. Japan reports more than 400 new cases on Friday. It's the first time since April 24th for the daily tally to exceed 400. 243 were reported in Tokyo. It's from NHK. All right. I thought there was a new report about Tokyo. There's not. All right, so let's see here. One other thing I want to check on. Yeah, we talked about this before, but just something to keep in mind. New York Times, Ohio, and other states that have been making progress see the virus coming back. And there's just because a state had a big outbreak in March and April and things got better, there's no reason it can't get worse. It got better because people were social distancing and not interacting as much. But as things open up and people start interacting more, you're going to have more cases. So Ohio and New York and Massachusetts, they're not done with it. I fully expect to see in New York and Massachusetts and other states where things are better for the moment, way more cases as people start interacting more and going out and conducting business and that kind of thing. The virus is surging in some states that have been making progress after battling earlier outbreaks. It's to be expected.
The one thing I don't understand is who goes to get tested if you don't.
All right, so look,
feel
I
bad.
think I'm going to wrap up this update, and I will certainly post more updates on my Twitter account if I hear them tonight, @Lookner on Twitter, and I'll post any other breaking news I hear about there, @Lookner on Twitter. And if there's big news tonight on this or another subject, we'll come back on the air. This channel focuses on live breaking news without an agenda. If you do want to know when we're coming on the air for our live news coverage, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you do subscribe on YouTube, make sure you click the notifications bell and choose all notifications. So in addition to hitting the subscribe button, you want to click on this bell right here and choose all notifications. Make sure you do that on YouTube. And also, depending on the news, if there's not news tonight, I might do big news. I might do a stream on my other channel. So I do have a second channel where So if you want to catch that stream, I'm probably going to do another stream tonight on that channel if there's no big news stuff. You can find that stream if you're at YouTube and you're on this channel. You can just go over here. It's Lookner. So keep an eye out for that as well if you're interested.
Non-news. What else you talk about, Lookner?
I really appreciate you watching the stream and you also participating, and also helping me out cover this. A lot of you have been sending me news links and also letting me read your comments on here. So thanks for your help in covering this. Much appreciated. And a big thanks to our moderators as well. The moderators are all volunteers. They're incredible. They're always in the chat rooms, keeping it troll-free. So big ups to the moderators. Feel free to thank them if you'd like. We got Mark in our YouTube chat, Mark Helton, Sarah Uchikabala, John M. And they are all there. In our Periscope chat, Sharon, Craig, Misha, Linda. I don't know if Linda's there right now, but Linda moderates a lot anyway. So whether or not she's there right now, thank you, Linda, too. Lou Syke, Texas Legends Brian. Any others I'm missing there? Peter Mearden. Also our Twitch mods, thank you so much there. And such as Skip Fu and Sort of Wonderful, thank you. And our Facebook moderators too. Denise Fredrickson, Kimberly Peterson, Courtney Lane, Shea Donor, Joe Serino, Dan Lindquist, Josh Tompkins, thank you. If any of you want to be a mod, or think you might want to be, to get more information, ask the mods for an email address that you can write to for more information. Hey, thank you to Deborah Miller for your support. I appreciate Deborah Miller. And thanks to everybody who donated. I really do appreciate it. This channel I do full time, so your support is what allows me to do this. So very much appreciate your donations. Thank you. And thanks for the Super Hearts, Lucite, Ghosty Girl, Misha, Peter Mearden, everybody else in the Periscope chat for the Super Hearts. And also thanks for the Facebook stars, Rod, Colin, Thomas Rickman, Denise Fredrickson, Karen Hawkstay, and everybody else who gave Facebook stars. Thank you. And a quick reminder also, if you do want to talk to, keep chatting with the viewers when we're not on the air, go to the Discord chat room. There's a Discord chat room where viewers of this channel, fans of the channel, talk when we're not on the air. And it's free to sign up, but if you do sign up, you actually get really good notifications for when we're coming on the air. So check that out. The link to the Discord is at the bottom of the YouTube video description, and the mods can also post it in the chats too, so people can check that out. Let's see here. Let me do this real quick. Here's this. I do want to take a moment and send my thoughts out to everybody who is around the world trying to recover from this virus. And we've had a couple of viewers. We had one viewer today say they were recovering, and then another viewer said that a couple of people they know got it. So certainly thoughts with everybody trying to recover from this virus, and also condolences to everybody who's lost someone from this virus around the world. And also a shout out to all the essential workers, grocery workers, law enforcement, truck drivers, et cetera, mail, all the essential workers working to keep things going during this pandemic, and also the doctors and the nurses. In this country, a lot of them are increasingly busy and putting their own health at risk, and other medical workers. So thanks to them, and also shout out to the scientists who are trying to work on a vaccine and a cure to help put an end to this pandemic. So shout out to all of them. And also, if you want an advance notice when we're getting on the air, I always post about 20 minutes in advance before we come on the air on the Facebook, Agenda Free TV, Facebook, and Twitter. So follow Agenda Free TV on Facebook and Twitter for an advance heads up when we're coming on the air. Thank you, Tom Jenkins, by the way, for your support. Much appreciated. Tom Jenkins, thank you. All right, thanks for saying thanks in our chat rooms. Thanks to all of our Twitch chatters there. Dog Lounge TV, thanks for your kind words. Shaggy Two Fang, thanks for watching. And everybody else in our Twitch chat, thanks for joining us. Thanks to our Facebook chatters like Ann Maroney. And everybody else in our Facebook chat. Thanks to all our Facebook viewers. Thanks to all the Periscope viewers. Texas B. Henley fan, thanks for thanking the moderators. Hang on one second here. Thank you, Lonnie77777.
Mm-hmm.
And Rhino2388. And Truth Hurts. All in our Periscope chat. And thanks to our YouTube viewers as well, and our YouTube chatters. Joyce, Dawn Pratt. A meaningful acronym. Tink. Jeff V. Cynthia Catherine Howard. Mrs. John Johnson says, thank you. My husband is out in this every day. Hope he stays safe. If you're looking for Molly PJ asked about a hospitalizations data site. I can recommend this one. Again, it's called COVID-19 Data Visualization. COVID-19 Data Visualization, Tomerberg. And you can find, for the U.S., hospitalization data and case data by state, hospitalization data there by state. You can, for a given state, get different data. It's a very good site. So I haven't used them. They do have some world data. I haven't used them much for that. I use them more for the U.S. data. So that's, again, you can, if you want to freeze frame this or rewind on it and just Google this, and you'll find a link to it. Thank you, Alexandra. Joyce, M. Arnold. Missouri Cowboy. Terry. Shout out to the lurkers as well, as Cliff Padilla says. Yes. Ziffelidor, thanks for watching. At S. Thank you. Nicole Wilson. Jean. Alibaba. Rid Comics. J-Bug. Molly PJ. Mira RV. South Jersey Larry. Nicole Ilana. June 0130. Mark Starkiller. Lisa Renee. Gina. Amy Potts. Aaron Huniade. Williamson III. Shane D. Laura Chase. History Conspiracy Podcast. Rid Comics. And everyone else saying thanks in our chat rooms. Christopher Slovic. Christy Warshower. And Rick H. And Sharon Solomon. All right, guys, I am wrapping up this live stream. Again, I will be doing probably doing a stream on my other channel tonight, Lookner channel. But depending on how the news is, and if there's big news, we could be doing more coverage on Agenda Free TV at night as well. And I will post news updates also on my breaking news updates on my Twitter page, Twitter feed at Lookner on Twitter. Thanks again so much for joining our coverage, and we will see you soon with more live news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.
Bye, Steve. Yo, Ross. I gotta go eat. I wasted too much time on a Facebook stream and didn't get enough painting in, so I'll probably cut my video game time short and come back up here for an hour or so before I go to bed. Gotta get up for the gym in the morning. Tomorrow is leg day. My fucking God. What did I just drop? Okay, nice. kind of hard to. That's why I keep that up there. Yeah. But yeah, starting to get those details with the flowers.
Being a teenager in the age of Corona is definitely tough. You're stuck at home with your parents, you can't go to prom, and your dad gave you a haircut with the same clippers he uses on his back hair. But here's a ray of sunshine for teenagers in Georgia. Because of the pandemic, the state has now decided to issue driver's licenses without requiring a driving test.
What?
And that is a crazy idea. I mean, think about it. The only driving practice that kids get right now is from what? Video games? Then they get behind the wheel like, okay, so which of these pedals shoot the color shift? Basically, it's now up to parents to decide whether their teens can get a license or not. And look, if Georgia's really giving people that power, they may as well go all the way. Just let people make their own driver's license at home too, like the actual photo. Because that would be dope. You could add a filter, face tune it, finally have.
Yeah, what the hell kind of shit is that? You don't have to take the driving test to get a license? I gotta look into that more. Georgia says, what now? That's some crazy shit. Alright, I'm about to go eat and play some Last of Us, y'all. I'll stream that shit. Well, yeah, while my food heating up in the microwave, I go throw the clothes in the laundry. I mean, clothes in the laundry. And that's some dumb shit. How you gonna throw your clothes in the laundry? Your clothes are the laundry. Throw the wet clothes in the dryer and then start the second load of laundry while I eat. So that shit can be done by the time I go to bed. Alright, I'll catch y'all downstairs. Peace.